to invite Union County Vice Commander David Penna of American Legion Post 228 to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask that you please remain standing for a moment of silence for all those who serve our country, both near and not so near. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Capides.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Present.
Committeewoman DuBois. Here. Committeeman Huber. Here. Committeeman Weber.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Welcome, everybody. We're going to start our meeting with some proclamations and announcements. On a somber note, the Township extends condolences to our tax assessor, Ed Galante, and his family on the passing of Ed's mother, Joan Galante, 88 years old, on December 29th, 2022. The Township also extends condolences to the chair of the Environmental Commission, Allie Miller, and her family on the passing of Allie's mother, Janice Weber, 77 years old, on January 4th, 2023. On behalf of all of us here at the Township of Springfield, we do express our sincerest condolences to those families. With that being said, it's time to, that time of the month next week on Monday. It's not only a day off for us, but it's also a day of remembrance. Hopefully not a day of remembrance, but a remembrance that is year-long for Martin Luther King Jr. There is going to be an event, an observance on Monday, January 16, 2023 at 10:30 at Temple Beth Am, 60 Temple Drive. Please make sure you register for either in person or online. They like to have a count of who is going to be there. And before I give the proclamation to Rabbi Rubin, I want to invite her up if she would like just to talk about some of the things that are going on for Monday. And when you're done, I'll come down and present you the proclamation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, hello everyone. It's nice to see you all here. I hope we'll see some of you on Monday. This commemoration is a recitation of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's letter from Birmingham jail. It is a powerful piece of modern American scripture. And what I love about it is that there is something very different in hearing these words spoken versus reading them on paper. So we split up the letter so that different people can read different paragraphs, and some of you have done this before. At Temple Beth Am Yisrael, we have the ability to do things in a multi-access format, so if you are more comfortable or not able to come in person, you prefer to be online, you can participate in reading the letter online with us, or you can just watch, and you're welcome to come in person too, of course. We are doing a winter gear drive as part of that day. So if you have hats or scarves or gloves to donate, we'd be happy to accept those. We're not accepting coats at this time. It's a community-wide drive. And we also will be assembling cold weather packs for people in need that have things like hand warmers and lip balm and tissues. So I hope you'll join with us. We've done this for the last 2 years, and it's delightful to expand it to the whole community. The Interfaith Clergy Association is participating this year, too. I should say that this event was the brainchild of Rabbi Menachem Creditor, who is in New York and is one of our leading proponents of taking social justice into the world and making the world a better place. So we're delighted to host this for the community. And if you have any questions, my email is in the flyer that I handed out, and please send me a message. Thanks.
Thank you. And I am going to read the proclamation from here, and then I will come down and present it to you. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about what the day involves and what it entails. I had the pleasure and privilege of coming almost every year since I've been on the Township Committee. And what I love about the event is that the circle that we have becomes larger and larger every year. And that speaks to our community, that it speaks to our inclusiveness, and we really appreciate the interfaith and yourself taking part in it. So I will read the proclamation and present it to you on behalf of the interfaith clergy. Whereas the Township Committee of the Township of Springfield of the County Union is aware of the outstanding contributions given to the citizens of this municipality, county, and state and nation by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., all of which have contributed to the annual observance of his birthday in commemoration of those actions. And whereas Dr. King was a leader of the national civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s, which led to the various legislative enactments assuring all of our citizens of the constitutional promise of equal protection and equal justice under the law. And whereas the Township Committee desires to acknowledge Dr. King's lifelong dedication to his dream that all men, regardless of race, color, or creed, are entitled to the same basic rights as set forth in the U.S. Constitution, and this Township Committee desires to acknowledge Dr. King's supreme sacrifice and to urge all citizens to reflect and to remember same. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Christopher Capides, Mayor, on behalf of the Township Committee of the Township of Springfield and the County of Union, do hereby acknowledge January 16, 2023, of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the Township of Springfield in dedication to the memory of Martin Luther King Jr. for his outstanding contributions to the welfare of all mankind. I will now sign my name and present this to you with our deepest respect and admiration. That is, if I can get it neatly into the folder, which it came.
Those folders are challenging.
They are, but they're beautiful. Thank you. And now at this time, as it is tradition and procedure every year, is the swearing in of our first aid officers and members. I would like to ask President Liz Fritzen to come forward to present the current membership and current leadership, and after which the proper introductions occur. I will then swear you all in as a whole. And while Liz is making their way up here, I also want to say that growing up in Union, my father was on the Colemans, so I got to see him be a first responder growing up, and I have a little glimpse of the things that our first aid squad does as first responders, and we up here appreciate what not only you, but our entire team of first responders do every single day, and we appreciate your efforts. Liz, want to grab the microphone, and then when you're done with introductions, I'll swear you all in.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and members of the Township Committee. I'll probably make a couple remarks after we get through the program, but we do appreciate this, which has become tradition. You're right. Members, please come up as I call your name. These are the 2023 officers of the Springfield First Aid Squad. Myself as president, Vice President Samantha Nee, Treasurer Marla Naparano, Recording Secretary Raya Gupta, Corresponding Secretary Megan Klein, Chief Apu Molik, First Lieutenant Jessica Miller, Second Lieutenant Jyothi Maruthanal, Training Officer Second Lieutenant Jeffrey Shanis, Supply Sergeant Joseph Voorhees, Trustee Martin Gornstein, and House Committee Rachel Valley.
in the middle. All right. So now I would like you all to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. I knew somebody was going to do it. I knew it. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of, according to the best of my ability, so help me God. Congratulations. How about a nice hand? Very good. Congratulations. Rachel, good to see you. Liz, congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. All right.
Did you want me to pull the names up of the others?
Sure. Just recognize the rest of your team. Absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor. We've added a little addition to our program this year, and we're
You're going to tap dance?
I could. And we're going to be recognizing graduates of our training program this year and brand new EMTs. So
Has wheels, guys. Okay. Doesn't take much brains to get on up here.
come on up when I call your name. These are our new EMTs. They all became EMTs in the year 2022. Tricia Balla, Marissa Blass, Anna Marie George, Taylor Golan, Katie Grabkowski, Olivia Hirsch, Rachel Valley, Megan Klein, Jonathan Malski, Vidya Murthy, Shrikar. I am going to butcher your last name, so I'm not going to say it. Come on up. Lily Palanaki, Alan Shee, and Jesse Wang. A lot of our new EMTs are not here tonight because they're students and they're in college. And, they come home on vacations and breaks and ride for the squad. Sure. Okay, the squad's new EMTs. Okay, the next grouping, and stay up here, it'll be fine. Our next grouping is These are EMTs that have passed examination and been promoted to crew chiefs. So when I call your name, please come on up. Valone Kamaj, Jennifer Carrillo, Daniel Chaban, Samantha Nee, Juliana Silva. Jessica Miller, Samantha Miller. Michael Pesky, Andrew Shanus, and these are our new crew chiefs. All became crew chiefs in the year 2022.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so everybody stay up here. Thank you all. As the mayor said, it's become a tradition, something that the First Aid Squad really appreciates the time that you take to do our swearing in every year. And we decided we would throw in, a couple of more promotions and things today, just so that you could see who we are and what our membership consists of. So in 2022, we had a record-breaking number of calls that we answered, near to, if not close on the button to 2,000 calls in 1 year. Our members, as you can see, are all ages. These are the members that have responded to homes throughout COVID in 2022, 2021, and 2020, without even shirking their responsibilities whatsoever when we had a pandemic raging across a global pandemic. So again, they're trained, they ride hours, they continue with their training, all volunteers, and you can be sure that the Springfield First Aid Squad is here to take care of the residents of Springfield and those people that are passing through our borders. We also took on 25 new members in the past year, so we are thriving, and again, these are our members, these are volunteers that put so much time into what we do to be there for the residents of Springfield. And I thank them, and I thank you all for your support. And we appreciate again tonight very, very much for recognizing our volunteers.
Thank you.
Mayor, I want to say something, too, but I don't know if you
I
want
think we all are going to go.
Okay, cool. I was inspired. Liz inspired me.
Yeah, we all have.
Now you guys got to do the Rockhead kick line now that he's down there. Now that the podium's in the way. The irony. Here's a woman who knows how to take a picture.
That's not nice now.
Vertically challenged.
Committeewoman DuVois, you wanted to start us off with comments?
Yeah, like I'm 7. Before you guys leave, I just want to thank all you guys for everything that you do. The fact that the majority of all of you are volunteers is just astounding every time I think about it. I think it's, the timing is pretty fitting. I mean, besides the bravery and selflessness you guys showed during COVID and during just regular day-to-day business, a week ago, Monday night, a lot of us sat and watched a football game and saw one of the most devastating hits that any sports fan has ever seen, and the young man is apparently back in Buffalo and walking and talking today, and that's because of people just like you. There were millionaires and billionaires out on that field, but the real heroes were you guys, people that have the same exact job that you have, and we should never take for granted the work you do, and the commitment that all of you have in our township is really appreciated by all of us up here, and just thank you for all the time you put in, all the effort you put in, and the care you take when you're out on calls, because I've spoken to many people who are very appreciative of experiences they've had with many of you. And to see some of you now that are my oldest daughter's age, and I know you since pre-K, and now you're saving people's lives, it's like kind of earth-shattering to me, so I'm having a moment. But it's getting real when I see you guys out there, but I appreciate all you do. Thank you so much, and I'm glad we get to do this with you tonight.
I'd like to thank you all also. I had a personal experience with you this year. They were very professional, very good. They took me up to the hospital, and I couldn't ask for better care. But thank you, and thank you for all your service, your volunteer hours, everything.
Yeah, the fact is, you're going to come across a lot of residents. You're going to visit a lot of homes. More people are going to have interactions with you than we like to have, but it's just what happens. And you know, it's funny because you know, my old job being a cop, I tease that you used to have two choices: get your stuff and get out of here, or put your hands behind your back and get in the car. The EMS thing, I couldn't do in a million years. I couldn't do first aid. I couldn't. It's what you guys see and girls see is pretty incredible, and there's a lot of people that are walking and talking because of you, and you know, your prompt response. So just remember, everybody's got a story and an emergency, and you know, when you're on your fifth or sixth one in a row and you're not sure what to do, just remember that everybody really is thankful for you, even if they're not sure how to express it at that moment. So thank you.
Usually I'm the anchor. Some of y'all have heard this, my remarks before, but a lot of you haven't, because some of you are new. You know, tonight's certainly about you, but more importantly, it's, you know, you're coming up, you know what you're getting into. But it's everybody who's sitting next to your parents who are probably so proud of what you're doing and you standing up and volunteering. And trust me, a lot of you are younger than me, and that's surprising. But you could be doing so many other different things, right? How many of your friends tonight are hanging out somewhere else, or you know, partying up or studying? But you're giving your time to your community and trying to make a difference in the lives of many people. And you're not doing it for money or fame or adulation. You're doing it because you care, because you want to try to make a difference in the lives. And some of you, hey, may go on to medicine, and that's what you're interested in, and this is your first step forward, but a lot of you aren't. Every time that I talk to you, I'm always surprised when I talk to you and ask you, oh, you're going to be a doctor, or you're going to be a nurse, and they're like, no. So you're really, truly doing this because you want to make a difference in your community. And every time I see and talk to a first responder, whether it's a new police officer or a fireman or you guys volunteering as EMS, I'm always reminded of that Mr. Rogers quote, right? When he says that he was a child and any time that he saw something frightening or scary on the news, he would look and his mom would comfort him and tell him, don't worry. Yes, it's scary, but look for the helpers. There's always somebody willing to help. And when you look to those helpers, hey, a sad situation, a horrible situation just gets a little bit better. And that's all because of you. And you're not just our helpers here in Springfield, but you're more aptly probably should be referred to as our heroes, because you really do step up when everybody else is running in the opposite direction. And to you, I can't thank you all enough. Some of you young, some of you old, and you really make our first responders second to none. And I appreciate all of you for everything that you do. And, you know, you talked about the President Fritzen. You talked about how you were thriving. That's something that is, you know, we should look to, because not all volunteer EMS are thriving, but you guys are. So that's a special credit to you, President, and your entire leadership team, who really goes out there and finds, you know, young people to get involved and brings new people into the community. So appreciate you, as always. You're always so much fun to hang around with. And I look forward to seeing you all throughout the year.
Thank you, and again, thank you all again. I know that I've commented on the top before you guys all came up here, but all of us sitting up here that serve the community have seen what you do firsthand, and we are completely and eternally grateful for everything that you do every day. So thank you. Moving on to public comments on agenda items only. Members of the public may provide verbal comments during the public comment portions of the meeting. By telephone if you wish, by calling 973-232-4442. Again, 973-232-4442. I'm now going to open up the meeting for public comment on agenda items only. If you have anything that you wish to discuss, please come forward with your name and address for the record.
If you guys want to escape now, now's your time.
Yeah, now's your time to do it. Thank you very much.
Run for the door. Trust me. It doesn't get any better than it was a minute ago.
That was the pinnacle.
All right, hearing no phone calls and seeing no one coming forward, I'm going to close the public comment on agenda items only portion of the meeting. We're going to move on to reports, and we're going to hear from Mr. Basicolo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of items I'd like to touch on. Leaf season went very well. It's over. We ended up picking up 8,500 cubic yards of leaves at the curb. The crews have now switched and started cleaning the parks and other township property. All holiday decorations were removed and stored away. Christmas trees will be collected through the month of January, but I do want to reiterate or make sure you understand, this is live trees only, no plastic bags. They have to be stripped of all decorations because they're ground up and recycled. So please make sure when you put them out, they're clean. PSC&G finally repaired Short Hills Avenue from Morris to Severner. Now, we do have a couple of roads left from 2022 that were not finished, and that's Wilson, Edison, and High Point Drive. Those will be done in the spring. Those are left over from 22. We had an incident at Town Hall on Monday. Our CO2 alarm went off. What happened was we had elevated CO2 in the building, and the fire department was here. We had to evacuate the second floor. After an hour or so, it cleared out. PSC&G came out immediately. What they did is they locked down the boiler. It was ruled unsafe and secured. Gas was shut off to it, and we now have to replace the boiler. So we put a PO out on Monday. It will be actually done by this Thursday. We have a backup boiler, but it's not enough to heat the entire building, but it'll stop pipes from freezing. Luckily, we're not in that situation. Weather's been mild, but that was an unexpected surprise that we had. I want to just touch on our redevelopment a little bit. Metropolitan up on Milburn Avenue is going very well. They're slightly behind. They were trying to get to a point where they could start renting at the end of the year. They're probably a couple of 3 weeks behind. Water is now turned on there for all the fire hydrants and everything. So the fire department was up there. We're good to go from that perspective. We did close on the Sarah Bailey property on Friday. And the last thing I want to discuss is Gomes, because again, I know we're not seeing any progress there, but I just want to explain kind of where we are from a township standpoint. Back in September, we issued a stop work order to Gomes for unsafe work. There were several items that were deemed unsafe. We had a meeting with them in October. We explained to them in minute detail, you will be allowed in the property to fix the items that are unsafe. Once that is done, they will be inspected immediately. If they pass, then we'll work on lifting the stop work order. Our redevelopment attorney, Matt Jessup, sent them a detailed letter stating that. We got a response from them the other day, and some of the things were addressed, but again, the problem is they want to have the stop work order lifted before the work is done. And that just is not going to happen. That's putting the cart before the horse, and we're just not going to do it. So although the work is not progressing there, I just want to make sure everybody understands this is not on the township. We're willing to work with them, but they've got to come to the table in good faith and do what's been asked of them. So if there's any questions or comments?
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Bisicolo? No?
No question.
Okay, I just want to reiterate, and I want to commend both Mr. Bisicolo and Mr. Jessup on their diligence that they have proceeded with filings as it relates to downtown. I wish members of the public could actually see what goes on behind the scenes and how frustrating it could be dealing with bigger corporations and bigger builders that have just pools of money and have no problem wanting to spend it to delay things that we would all like to see happen. So I commend your efforts. And just, I would like to, again, I wish they could see what happens behind the scenes, but this has been a very, very tedious process, and I can assure you the township is doing everything they can to bring this building to where we would all like to see it. Moving on, there are no minutes and reports. New business. We have one ordinance tonight for first reading. Madam Clerk, please read the ordinance.
Yes, ordinance 2023-01. This ordinance amends provisions in Chapter 2 of the Township Code regarding the organization of the Township's Police Department.
Have a motion?
I would like a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-01 as read by Madam Clerk, publicized in the local source September 19th, 2023, with final hearing on February 14th, 2023.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
January 19th.
I'm sorry. January, final hearing on January 19th. Let's correct that, 2023.
I'll second.
Thank you. Just to give a little context, I know there's going to be a discussion that will ensue. This is something that myself and Committeeman Weber was discussing with Chief Cook as part of the Public Safety Committee. We started conversations last year. They have gone on for quite some time, and we're putting it on the agenda now. I'm going to ask Chief Cook to go through what has been spoken about between myself and Committeeman Weber, and then we'll take questions from the Township Committee.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor. So, again, I'm just looking to up our staffing levels in preparation for a few years down the line. I mean, we have a lot of growth going on in town with redevelopment. We're going to have the growth also with our population and our calls for service. Calls for service themselves have the length of time involved in the past year has increased greatly due to mandates by the state. There's a lot more now that needs to be done as far as the data we get for our reports. So, again, I can to give an example to explain how this is. When I came on quite some time ago, we had 39 officers. I believe the table of organization said we could have a max of 43. We never had 43, we had 39. Overtime was ridiculous. When I took over, I had asked, and this goes back about 10 years ago, I had asked to raise that number to 45. And, the committee graciously did so, and I have yet to have 45 officers. So this is only placing a number on how many maximum officers we're allowed to have. raising it to 50. Again, it's just in preparation. I don't, if I have to wait until the time comes and then I need officers, now there's at least a 2 to 4 month delay, because we'll have to change the ordinance again to increase the number. 2 readings published in the paper, then I'm allowed to, run a process to hire. So again, that's all this is about. There's no financial involvement at all, because ultimately it could say 102 and I could say, can I hire somebody? And it's up to the appropriate authority, which is the 5 of you. So it doesn't matter what the number is, you ultimately have to give me the okay to hire someone. So it could say 50 and it could stay that for 10 years and I could still stay at 44 like I am now. So it's really just a preparatory move in anticipation of the growth that I see coming to town.
Yeah, but Chief, if we okay this, whatever it is, 50, and you still have to, going to wait 2 months, am I correct? You're still going to have to wait for it to interview, then you have to wait for, the academy, if the schools, if the academy. So I can't see the sense of this, to be honest with you.
But that's why it said 2 to 4 months, because we haven't hired anybody to send to the academy probably in 11 years. We usually hire officers that are already trained. But the 2 of the 4 month delay would be having to wait for first reading, second reading, and then the publishing. So it's maybe a month and a half that would delay me. This would save me that time. And I just don't, again, it's been 45 for 10 years and I've never had 45 officers. Because it's just, that's ultimately your decision to say yes or no to hiring somebody.
I'm saying, like, if we, let's say, read it tonight, and we okayed you to hire an officer, you'll start the procedure tomorrow morning. So in a year from now, when they open up Saks or whatever it is, we could say okay, and then you can start the process right away. I mean, that's why I don't know what the rush is for this. That's only my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I would have to change the order. If this isn't in place now, once I reach 45, then I can't hire anybody else because I'd be going against the ordinance. And I'm in need of 45 now, but that's a different topic for a different day. Again, it's just preparatory. If it says 50 and I ask for number 46 or 47, you could say yes to 46 and no to 47, and it saves that time down the road.
But still, you have to wait for us to okay it. So in other words,
right.
If we said 50 tonight, 6 months, all of a sudden, they open up Saks. And you can't hire anybody until you come from the committee and they talk about it and they say, okay, you can hire one.
Correct.
And so even with this as an ordinance, you can't hire anybody. So I don't know why we can't wait until we're ready for it. Until right now, every town is in fiscal, needs money.
No, I totally understand.
I mean,
That's why this doesn't cost a dime other than the ink I'm putting on the paper here.
and you can come back to the committee and say, you're okay, you said the ordinance for 50, I'm only asking for one more, 46, 45, whatever. Okay, that's only my opinion.
Okay.
I'm going to jump right on the back of Committeeman Huber. You came on, if they said that it was 45 and we still haven't reached that, I don't know what the rush is to do this tonight. I'm always leery, right? You raise the max, but people have short-term memories. Tomorrow you could be gone, we could all be gone, and there's a different committee up here. And people have short-term memories, and then we raise that to 50. It's showing right now we're not fully staffed. It's 6. We're down 6 guys, right? That's tomorrow. And I don't know necessarily I like that look, especially when you haven't even gotten to 45. And I've committed to you, Chief, to hire that 45th officer. And I think I committed to you to try to make that happen this year. So I just don't see the rush to do this tonight. But just leery about the financial implications going forward. And I've been up here for 4 years, and people do have short-term memories. Tonight, we're all saying, hey, it's just preparatory. In a few months, you're here telling us we're down, guys. So
Well, you're not going to hear that from me. You guys have been here 4 years. I've been here 30-plus years, and I've been at these meetings all the time. So, I think my ethics and my morals are pretty high.
no, you are, but you do. It's not calling into that. It's calling into that you're constantly advocating for your department the way that you're supposed to be doing. But trust me, I would feel them pressure to see that we're not fully staffed. I could see that coming many different directions from all over, and how people interpret that. So that's what I would be worried about.
Okay.
I would probably vote
appreciate your
to
opinion.
move this forward, but I think this really does. Part of it is a discussion amongst the Public Safety Committee, but there's a financial implications here, and I think that deserves vetting from the Finance Subcommittee as well. And I, up until a few minutes ago, did not see a comparative chart amongst comparative towns, and maybe that's on me, Chief, for not doing my due diligence prior to this meeting. So I'm hesitant to vote on it tonight.
I guess my turn. Okay, so we've been public safety now for 4 years, going on 5. This was part of the plan going back several years. I'm going to, we sat and we talked, Chief and I sat and talked, and we knew the growth was coming, and 50 was the right number that we wanted to get this department to. Now, I'll tell you my concerns, and I'm for it, and I'm reluctant at the same time, because my problem is the same as Deputy Mayor Kaiser's, is that you understand the program, and so do we. I live that life, and I know what happens right away, where all of a sudden, next thing you know, I got a bunch of angry cops who are going to tell us that we're 6 people or 7 people understaffed, and then everything just goes downhill from there. Well, why do I have to work overtime if they'd hire more cops, the table of organization? I can go through it all forever. And I don't put that on you. I put that on just staffing in general, because that's just the nature of the beast, is to do that, especially when you've worked, 10 and 3/4 hours and you're being told you're being held over for another 4 because somebody called out sick. That's what happens. But we're not understaffed at this point. We're one person understaffed under current stuff. I would like to see it increased. I'd like to see a wheelbarrow full of tickets coming off of Mizell and Mountain Avenue and certain things. I think we're going to have a talk. I'm going to look to push this through today, but I think that the Public Safety Committee and the department are going to have to sit down and have a talk and figure out what's the plan going forward in terms of keeping productivity high, keeping everybody busy, and justifying an increase on these. I don't want to say you're stuck with somebody for 25 years, but it's a career. I mean, when they're hired here, they're hired here. And, the one thing I'm going to say is 6 years, 15, 7, Alex and I going on 5. If we haven't proven our commitment to the police department and the fire department by now, with 7-year contracts and everything else, we need something in return. And I think that we have to figure out what that's going to be. So I'm going to vote, I'm a yes on it today, but I do have concerns.
Is there any, just out of curiosity, listening to, I think you bring up excellent points. I think Deputy Mayor Kaiser brings up excellent points. I think you did. I think everybody brought a lot to the table. Is there any middle ground instead of going to 50, going to like 47? Or is, like, since it's no cost to do it or change it, what is the impetus to go right to 50? Because I hear the concern of both of them with that number.
I think the 50 number, when we spoke with the chief, we have a lot of traffic that comes through this town. We have developments, we have multiple developments that are coming. Springfield is busy and happening, and the fact is, you want people in the town, you want people coming and visiting, you want people to feel safe here, you want people to move here, you want people to rent apartments here. They want to wake up and find their cars in the driveway in the morning, and I get it. If we can get them 100 cops, we can get them 100 cops. But to Deputy Mayor Kaiser's point, you got to pay for it somehow.
And that's what I'm saying. Is there like a middle ground that maybe they'd feel more comfortable with?
I think if we're
Can
gonna,
I ask a question?
Sure.
Two guys in a minute. I don't mean to interrupt anybody. Why can't we put this off for 6 months and see how everything turns?
well, here is, I mean, and again, I agree with everybody up here, as Committeewoman Du Bois said. I think the number is there for preparatory reasons. If we're going to do this once, we should do this once. And if that's the number that, we've talked about for, longer than 6 months about this, I think that's what we should go with. There is no financial implication for this. If someone asked me, not yet, if someone asked me, are we hiring a cop right now, my answer is no. This hasn't been rushed because it's been talked about for a very, very long time. But I do agree with Committeeman Weber in the fact that, if we want to add, whenever we feel we need to add somebody, I do believe it's based on productivity. There has to be a rationale and a need. And when that time comes, we have to discuss it. And I'm not sure, with Deputy Mayor Kaiser, I'm not sure if one's on the docket for this year. I don't know yet. But I wouldn't be sure. But what I will...
Per negotiations with a part of our commitment with the potential dispensary opening up in town, that was part of the talks.
Yes.
So I would imagine that it is on the docket.
Okay. But the other part of this is that, again, I do agree with the productivity. Route 22 is a very heavily traveled road. Mizell is a very heavily traveled road. And I believe that there is some justification needed for increased officers. And when that time comes, and again, I don't know if this year, in terms of timing, when the marijuana dispensary would be taking place. But again, it's all preparatory on a need. And this is just a preparatory advancement that we're doing now, and that's why it's put on the agenda.
Can I have a final comment on it?
Sure, absolutely.
So, well, first off, so the number 50, if you remember, and I'm not throwing you under the bus, Committeeman Weber, but
No, that was my-
you actually brought it up.
Absolutely.
I mean, anywhere between 45, which we are technically at now, anywhere between 45 and 50 is fine. I mean,
We were looking at.
we brought the number up, it came up in our discussions, future, comparing it to the list that I had, which I did produce to everyone last year. This did go out to everyone. This isn't fresh. This is something I just reprinted it because I had it out last year. That's where the number 50 came from. We thought it was comfortable. Again, I haven't asked for 45, even though it's been in the ordinance for at least 10 years. I've only asked as I see the need. I don't, just because I have a set number doesn't mean I'm going to ask for it, because, again, I hold myself accountable. I hold my officers accountable, so obviously I hold myself accountable to you guys. And that's the basis of the number 50 coming out, for no other reason.
Yeah, no, we talked about 50, and, you know, I think the plan was somewhere in the 5-year range or so to get you up to that staffing. Yeah, I'm not in a disagreement with that. I'm just protecting the interest of us financially at this point, and,
No, totally understood.
you know, and that so on, and just making sure that we have the right motivation to justify what's happening, and that the residents are seeing a return for their tax dollars on it. That's
Right. I mean, and that's my main concern. I mean, that's my responsibility is the safety of everybody in this town, whether you live here or work here or just travel through. You know, and I take that very seriously, as do my guys. And, you know, as of the past year and a half, we've had a lot of guys out on short, long-term disabilities, deployments. So the guys that are working now, that's why I brought the 45th guy just recently, because the guys are working a lot of hours, and they're getting a little burnt out. They're going to do it, but is that going to affect their productivity? Probably. So I need to look out for the officers as well, but the main thing is, again, the town. That's what you gave me this spot to do, and that's, you know, I'm proud of the way I handle it.
What I guess I would request is we'll take a vote on this one, first reading on this one, before the, you know, sooner than later, so we can, the 5 of us can review it. I think we would need to see an overtime impact on what you have going on, what possible savings would be happening with somebody picking up the slack and so on. And then we'll push from there.
Agreed.
Does anybody else have any comments, questions?
No?
Okay, roll call, please.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Committeewoman Du Bois?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
No.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
I am very hesitant to move this today. I would, my plan of action, as I said, I'm committed to hiring a 45th officer. That's on record. I would move this in tandem when we make that ultimate decision instead of doing that today. I'll vote to release today, but I'm not assuring you a vote on this on the second. I'm just doing that to continue debate going forward.
That's a yes.
Sure.
Okay. Mayor Capides?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance passes on first reading.
All right, thank you, everybody, for your comments and your discussion. Resolutions, we're going to do on consent agenda. Please, if you'd like one pulled, please let me know. 20, 23, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50.
Is that it? All right, that's an easy agenda. I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-45 through Resolution 2023-50.
I have a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Committeewoman Du Bois?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Capides?
Yes.
You.
There are no discussion and action items. Finance, do I have a motion?
I'm back to doing this. I'll make a motion to adopt payroll and invoices for the period of December 28th, 2023 through December 28th, 2022 through January 10th, 2023 in the amount of $4,764,940.52.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Committeewoman Du Bois?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Capides?
Yes. We have 2 correspondents. We have a notice from Willentz Law Firm regarding the Board of Education special school district election to be held Tuesday, March 14th. We also have the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection virtual hearing on fiscal year 2023 annual fee report dated February 2nd at 10 a.m. The link will be provided on the department's website the morning of the hearing. I ask that they be received and filed. I would now open up the meeting to public comment on any governmental issue. Anyone who has any issue that they would like to discuss, please come forward and give your name and address for the record. Members of the public may also have verbal comments during the public comment portion via telephone by calling 973-232-4442, 973-232-4442.
Hello again. How's everybody? Matt Lynch.
Mr. Lynch, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Stony Brook Drive, Bridgewater is where I reside now, formerly of 93 Lions Place in town, and of course 100 Mountain Avenue.
Okay, your present address, please?
Stony Brook Drive, Bridgewater, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Formerly of 93 Lions Place and also of 100 Mountain Avenue. I'm retired sergeant. Come here again before you to speak to you about my medical coverage and my retirement. I also was with firefighter Tom Balk and one firefighter, police officer who can't be here. In my contract, when I decided to retire in December, I retired October 19. This is what it says in there. Upon retirement of a member hired before 1/1/15 in good standing and who has successfully completed 18 years of continuous service with the Township of Springfield and has 25 years of credit in a local or state pension system in New Jersey, or upon retirement on a disability, then the member shall be afforded medical coverage for his and or her life by the township paying the cost of the premiums for medical coverage, not limited to, and it lists everything else. That's where I retired. There's also something else in our contract we retired. It's called the, the savings clause, which reads, in the event that the federal or state legislation, governmental regulation, or court decision causes invalidation of any article or section of this agreement, all other articles and sections not so invalidated shall remain in full force and effect, and the parties shall renegotiate any such invalidated provisions. And that's why I retired. That's what this says. Now, I know I heard or I spoke to some people saying the township attorney keeps on telling us don't do it. It's not valid. But I sit here in front of you saying I honor my commitment. I was here for 23 years. I bought back some military time, so I had 25 years of service, and it was over 18 years of service to this town, which according to this contract, my medical benefits should be paid for. I'm just asking you, I honored my commitment to this township, and this township that I do love. My parents moved us out of the Bronx to here. It's a great town to grow up in. But I can fulfill my commitment. I'm asking you to fulfill yours to us. To myself, firefighter Balk, and two other gentlemen. It's that simple. I would hope that you would, honor your commitment as I've honored mine to you and to this township and to the people of this town. I love being a Springfield resident. I went to high school graduate here. Fortunately, my parents moved out when I was in the service, so my life moved on. Last time I was here to talk, someone thanked me for my service to this country and to this town. If you really want to, that's true. It's not a political statement. I would ask you to, your commitment that you said in these papers, you honor that to me and to those other guys. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Mr. Lynch, thank you. I was the individual that said that to you, and I'm going to say that again. And I mean that with the utmost respect. I've had family in I had members of my family in the military, and I thank you for not only your commitment to our country, but their commitment to here in Springfield. Unfortunately, again, I have been advised by my attorney that I'm no longer able to I'm not able to comment, but your message has been received.
Thank you very much. And my son just joined the military. He's going to try and be a ranger like his uncle. So
all right,
it goes on. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public or on the phone wishing to be heard?
Good evening. Tom Balk, 19 Tulip Road. Gonna reiterate exactly what Officer Lynch was talking about. I've done 27 years to this town. My contract says the same thing as his does. It was negotiated with Township Committee and agreed upon in good faith that we would receive benefits provided by the town. Still confused of why this doesn't happen. I understand not everybody here on the committee was on the committee at the time. One person, I'm Mr. Hewer, you were. And from what I understand, and I was told by my local, that while negotiations were going on, they actually called a member in from the Township Committee and to discuss the health benefits. And from what I understand, I was told by them was they agreed right then and there that yes, give it to them, regardless of whatever the state had in Chapter 78. That's all I have to say. I wish someone can explain to me why we don't need to abide by it.
And again, I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate, when I was on this committee, when you were serving our community, the time that we did spend together, but unfortunately, as it relates to your comments, we've been advised by our attorney not to comment on it, but the message has been received, and we appreciate it.
Okay. Well, I hope you guys go into other meetings while we're not here, and please discuss this and try to figure out what should be right and do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
Anyone else wishing to comment from the public or the phone? Phone number again, 973-232-4442. All right, seeing no phone calls or any one member of the public stepping forward, I'm going to close the public comment on any governmental issue. Anyone need to discuss or share anything up here? No? With that being said, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We're adjourned.